Okay, this will be one of my more controversial videos about success and how does this magical law of attraction thing actually work. Like, this is the exact way that I got myself to, I'll share a couple of examples here. One is I got myself to essentially save $70,000. Okay, it was something that I was going to have to pay $70,000 for. Then I used this technique and then I didn't have to pay that money. I got myself to making up to 250K a month in revenue in my ecom company, profiting over 30K per month, month over month. I also used this technique to manifest, you could say, the wife of my dreams. There's just so much good stuff that comes from this. But for those of you who are just looking for some easy way out or not putting in any effort, I mean, what are you doing with your life? Because the law of attraction is not what you think it is at all. If you have a vision board and a dream board and you're getting all excited about your goals and you're getting pumped up and thinking that somehow that vibration of how you feel is going to magically attract it into your life, you're missing, you're just missing it. Now, you might already be programmed for success from your first 7 years because you've been charismatic or you've understood, basic things like how to not be afraid to talk to people, or you're good at memorizing things. And so you can use certain skills like that, and then you learn about law of attraction, and then because you focus properly, you get results. But if you want to actually get results in all different areas, no matter what area you're focusing on, listen up, because I'm going to get into that in this episode. So I, for years and years and years, would study the books. I mean, you can see, I'm not going to turn my camera right now, but I have Neothink books and books on, essentialism and effortless and, the magic of thinking big and all these things on trying to optimize your mind and how that works and how does it work to set up your schedule and your day-to-day and all that. And none of those books come even close to this technique, which you can use to get information directly into the part of your mind that really counts. If you've ever been in a position where you're like writing down your goals, thinking that that's going to make you successful, my question for you is, how's it really going with consistently creating money in your life? How's it going with consistently having great relationships in your life? And also, how's it going with you having a real fulfilling impact? Because there's like three things that at the end of the day, everything I do comes back to. One is helping you get free financially. So helping you actually have a business where you can provide real value to people and then make a lot of money from that so you don't have to work a job. Now, you have to work that business like a job right away, but then you can build it so then it pays you and then you can build a team and everything. And no, it's not some MLM. No, it's not crypto. It's none of that. It's just being able to provide a real product and a service that people actually need. And then you get paid very well for that. And it's actually cheaper than the mainstream standard that people are usually paying for that, okay? So I get into that a little bit later. And so money is one thing. The other thing is relationships. So I got a really awesome wife and a really happy son, and we're going to have 6 kids. At least that's the plan. And who knows, maybe there'll be some twins in there or whatever. You have a plan, and then life unfolds. But, I mean, my wife and I, we don't fight. We don't argue. Like, occasionally we'll have some disagreement on something, and then it's resolved. We don't go to bed mad at each other. She doesn't threaten me, or I threaten her with, I'm going to leave, or, shit like that. It's like we're just on the same page, and it's really cool. But it was because, and it is because ongoing, we continue to work on ourselves on this way deeper level. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now, also, impact. The other thing that I talk about all the time, I mean, if you see my stuff on Facebook and Instagram and all this, is like, I am so insanely dedicated to creating a better world because there's something called enlightened self-interest. If you've never heard of this, it's a pretty cool concept. And the concept is that if you really wanted the best life for yourself, where you have the max happiness, the max euphoria and enjoyment and excitement and all that good stuff, well, do you just care about yourself? No, obviously not. That would be idiotic. Because if you only care about yourself, guess what happens? Nobody likes you. You can't actually build anything for real. You can't get leverage in any way, shape, or form. And people just in general think you're an asshole. Okay? So the real way to get the most for yourself is to actually help everyone around you thrive for real. So why did I say this video is going to be controversial is because people got it all twisted when they're looking at their money, their relationships, and their impact. One is, with your money, if you're focused on money, you're doing it wrong. you just don't really understand the basics of how to actually make money. It's not by focusing on money. It's by focusing on the right business activity. Also with relationships. If you're experiencing any sort of drama with your partner, something is wrong because you're playing out programs from childhood. You're playing out stuff from the Disney movies that you watched or that your wife watched or whatever. And that's going to creep in and erode your whole relationship. And you won't actually build anything for real, and you won't actually see how your relationship can be the biggest asset in your life. And then also with impact, I mean, like I said, enlightened self-interest. Like, there are serious problems in the world right now. And it's insane. And this is the part of the video that you might tune out with. But others of you, you'll realize that this is actually the main purpose. Is right now, there are wars going on. There's suffering going on a mass scale. And the biggest problem that our world faces right now is that our kids are being dumbed down. And the next generation of kids right now can't read. 2/3 of kids aren't reading at the right grade level or proficient in math. Basic common sense stuff. These are kids that are going to be duped into electing a president who has Alzheimer's and can't even form sentences. Like, it's crazy. And I'm not saying that the other guy's any better. The whole system is messed up. But right now, people get so focused on their own success. The reason that you're not hitting the level of success that you actually want to hit is because your purpose is too small. Your impact is too small. You're still thinking that, like, oh, if I can just, like, I get DMs all the time from these people who are like in life insurance and financial planning and stuff. And like, look, if you support people in life insurance and financial planning and that's like actually what you're good at and you're providing fair policies and stuff, okay, I guess. But don't get it twisted thinking that that's actually the solution to anything. So anyway, there's other videos I make where I go way more into purpose and impact and everything. But the point I'm making is we got to think way bigger. We got to think way bigger. Like, there's a phrase from one of the Navy SEALs. I don't know, I think it's from some Jocko book or podcast I listen to, where he says that when you think you're at your full capacity, you're at 40% of what you're actually capable of. And I've noticed that time and time again with myself. So back to the beginning of the video, I was sharing these stories of how do you like use your mind and your thinking and all of that to actually create the outcomes you want. One is you got to realize you got to think way fucking bigger. You're still playing way too small. Like, if your goal right now is just financial freedom, that's why you're still not there. That's not a valid goal. It can be a stepping stone along the way. Yeah, you shouldn't be enslaved to your finances. But also, you got to realize we're all enslaved to a debt-based system. We're all enslaved to a debt-based system. Federal Reserve, look it up. Okay. So unless you're aligning your ultimate goal with helping other people achieve that freedom, so that we can all step forth and rewrite the laws and the policies, like, again, you're still thinking too small. And then in your relationship, if your partner and you don't have you aren't on the same page, like, what are you doing? You got to sit down and chat with them. Now, it might be a difficult conversation, but if you have kids, it is your duty and responsibility to stick with them and figure it out, because you created those kids and now that's your responsibility. You don't get to just choose your own happiness anymore. And if you haven't had kids yet, or wife isn't pregnant or you're not pregnant, whatever, okay, I mean, but still, look, like, you're going to recreate the same pattern. You're going to recreate the same time loop again and again and again until you sort it out. So the thing that I've done that's worked insanely well is a very specific process with technology. I talk about it all the time. It's called Technotutor. And you use it to restructure how words are held within your mind, your unconscious mind. This is something that you will think you have an idea of how it works. You won't understand it until you use the thing. But I have used it specifically. And I have other videos on my YouTube. I've been making YouTube videos for years to share this, because one day, it's like, I have put out enough content that, and I get people who haven't commented on a single thing, liked a single video, and then all of a sudden one day shit hits the fan in their life, and then they text me and they call me. And then we get on a call, and then they actually join. And now their life gets way better. Like, so many stories of that. Countless. And that's really cool. But the thing is, I know in a general sense in the world, we're about to hit the shitstorm. And so that's why I make all these videos and I put my life out in the open. It's because I know what we have works. I mean, I just was on a chat last night with a guy who works with me, and we chatted for about 50 minutes, and his entire life has changed. I mean, they have many kids. And him and his wife have just totally opened up so much stuff that they'd been suppressing for a long time, really their whole life, like stuff from childhood. And seeing them change and seeing him actually say like, wow, I realize that, my purpose is to actually help thousands of dads like experience the same thing. Like that's really cool. And his wife also like realizing like self-worth for the first time in a long time in her life. Like that's real empowerment. And so I keep sharing this because I know at one point your life is going to it's all going to hit the fan. Or you're already on board with this and then you're going to be able to support other people. So may this video empower you to go share more of your story. And for all the haters and the people who think, oh, who are you to tell other people how to live? It's like, I will happily share with people how they should live. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to say every detail, like, don't be stupid. But in general, like, should people work to perfect themselves or not perfect themselves? Of course, they should work to perfect themselves, be the best version of themselves. Now, they still got to do it. You can't force anyone. But I'll show them why it's way better and they'll have a way better life and have more dopamine and everything when they do that. So I've seen, like I said, with myself, rapid transformation because you program the mind right and your mind is just like a computer. The input you feed it will give you the output, but it's not enough to just read a video or, read a book or watch a video. Or read a video, I suppose, if there's subtitles, right? It's like, that's not enough because your mind has a filter. It's why you didn't even remember everything I said in this video already, even though you just watched it. All right? Or it's why right now there's like probably 20 things in the room around you and you don't even know what they are. Because your mind's filtering out reality. Well, there's a way you can bypass that filter, get the stuff in, and then actually calibrate everything in your mind. What would be best? Best for you and best for everyone. So you combine that then with the enlightened self-interest and you have a partner and you create a family to do that. Imagine when there's 20,000 families doing this. What impact that's going to make in the world. So, like I said, I've seen so much transformation in my life. I would not be able to be the dad that I am, the husband that I am, the community leader that I am. We just hosted an event in San Diego, had 160 some people there, like the whole time. I'm like speaking on stage in front of all these people. I'm like not nervous whatsoever. I'm just like, hey, this is kind of cool. This is exciting. But a few years ago, I was nervous to just talk in front of like 5 people. I went to a Toastmasters meeting like years and years ago, and I was like feeling like I'm going to have a heart attack in the back of the room. But it's because that was old programming. Now I have new programming. I still got a ways to go, but it's the best thing ever. And so right now for yourself, where are you still playing small? Where are you still in your comfort zone? Where are you still holding back? Because it's like, what is it going to take for you to actually step up? What is it going to take for you to get way worse? You might have to lose your job. Spouse might have to threaten leaving you. Right? Like, there might have to be some noticeable consequence with your kid before you step up. But I'm going to keep making these videos and talking to people and reaching out and running our local meetups and clubhouses and all this stuff because there are more and more people looking for this. And I'm very excited for that. Because if you're just living life on the surface, sooner or later, the depths, like that inner stuff that you suppress or you don't want to look at or you don't even know is in there, will come out. It's how reality is set up. And you could suppress it until your deathbed, or more likely what's going to happen is it's going to come up in a moment where it's not ideal. And then you're going to create consequence. So in that moment, reach out. It's actually getting pretty crazy how many people I have now reaching out to me when they're like, hey, that thing that you shared the other week, like that actually happened to me. Or, hey, what was it about that? Because I want to quit my job, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to make money. It's like, I will show you how to make money. It's not that hard. Shout out, guy I work with, Sam. She's made a lot of money over the past 3 days supporting families to do a similar thing to him. It's really cool. And the best part is you don't have to sacrifice yourself to do it. You don't have to go work for 8 hours a day doing some soul-draining shit. It's like you can actually just share. You can actually just be genuine with people. It's pretty cool. It's actually the best thing ever. All right? So, if you're watching this, that little piece of you inside knows, go find the shit you're scared to do. Go find the thing that you're resisting. And if you don't yet have TechnoTutor, we should definitely chat about that, because you have probably 50,000 different things running in your head right now. Ideas, beliefs, feelings, emotions, stuff that's even beyond words right now. You haven't put words to it, but like imagine this. Imagine when you were a kid and the first time you ever heard someone yell, or the first time you ever saw someone in pain, and you absorbed that energy, because that's what you're doing as a kid. It's how you learn language. It's obvious. That got absorbed into you. Now you're walking around and that's still part of you. So that's why someone could say a certain word and trigger you, or someone could say something about you and it would trigger you. Or you could see something and you'd be like, I just don't know why, I just don't like that. Or I don't care for that. Or you actually react. That's called programming. That's the stuff that we can change. And when you do that, guess what happens? The whole law of attraction thing actually opens up, because now equal and one to reality, you're creating. You're co-creating with reality. It's amazing. Through your thoughts, words, and deeds. Your habits, all of it. And if you don't correct that stuff, I mean, you're going to live a life of regret, because you're going to be capped out of your potential. You might make 6 figures a year, great, congrats. You might even be making 6 figures a month. But on some level, you're not where you want to be with your kids, with your spouse, any of that. So, some food for thought. But don't just think about it, because your mind's all messed up. Your mind's got viruses in it. The real pandemic is the mind virus. Let's connect. Let's figure out how to get your life awesome. And then with the enlightened self-interest, let's figure out how you can be part of the movement to shift to where the world's headed and change that. All right. And check out my other videos too. I have a ton of stuff on YouTube. But if this resonates, find the description below. Let's connect.